Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cincinnati Chronicles, our World of Darkness anthology series. We are only in part 2 of our Werewolf the Apocalypse arc, but things are heating up already. Claws have been drawn, fangs are ready, and maybe tonight we'll have a little bit of the old rage. We'll see. Before we get to character and player introductions and the like, it's promo time. Down below, there are a bunch of links to YouTube and Twitch. You're watching this on one, why not check out the other? Links to our social media, our Discord, and our Patreon. I don't need to tell you what those things do. You know already. Check them out if you're interested. We run 3 weekly series. Mondays is typically Shadows of Estrin. Tuesdays is nothing. Wednesdays is Symbaroum, and Thursdays is this World of Darkness Cincinnati Chronicles. Having said all that, we are taking a 2-week hiatus over the festive period. So I think the next stream to be back with you will be Shadows of Estrin on the 3rd, maybe. I'm not sure if Johnny's picking up Shadows of Estrin in that first week. Either way, that first week of January will have some streams return at their usual time of 8 o'clock p.m. GMT. We also run one-shots on the first weekend of every month, the most recent of which was a sequel one, was one of the Alien TTRPG from Free League, that excellent game. We had a one-shot of it way back in February of this year, and this was a sequel to that. It's slowly appearing over on our YouTube, and all of our other one-shots are there. A vast conglomeration of wonderment and RPG joy, so go check those out. There's bound to be something you'll enjoy. And our next one shot should be, I think, on the weekend of the 8th and 9th of January, and that's going to be Cyberpunk 2020. A little bit retro, a little bit fun, a little bit of having a fax machine implanted in your arm. It's all good stuff. Yeah, I think that's my promo. That's all the promo. That's all. I keep thinking I have to do more of it because there used to be more, but now there isn't. That's an exciting story. And with that in mind, let's start bringing on the players who comprise our pack of werewolves for this arc. And we're going to start by bringing on Inga. Hello, Inga.
Hiya.
Hiya. Inga is playing Lila, Get a Fenris Arun. Look at her there in all her Kate Blanchett glory. Yeah, Inga, why don't you tell us how our werewolf story kicked off last time?
We kicked off with a broken down VW camper van. We were on our way from New York, and we broke down in, would you guess it, Cincinnati, near a diner, the Spindrift Diner. So we pushed the van in and tried to see what we could do. We met a very lovely man serving there, Marshall, who was a bit spacey but very, very lovely, and he gave us the details for his cousin, who was a mechanic, who would come and help us. So I think Marco gave her a call and she agreed to come down to take a look. Beanstalk, well, the Raven provided Beanstalk with a wallet to buy us some food while we waited, and he also took the opportunity to step sideways in the bathroom and have a bit of a suss out of the place. And Marshall had some sort of je ne sais quoi about him, as sort of a bit of an aura or a glow. He seemed a bit special, not in a scary, nasty way, but there was a little something about him. And then, the mechanic hasn't arrived and didn't look good. Had to take it to the shop.
No, the camper van is pretty fucked. So, yeah, it's worth mentioning, by the way, I don't know that I am a cat owner myself, Inga, and therefore I know that clearly something must be terribly wrong if your cat is meowing like that.
The thing that's terribly wrong is that I've not let him into the room today, so he's not sitting on my lap.
Oh no,
no cattails today.
That's a great
He'll
tragedy.
Shut up soon when he just go to sleep.
Then in that our cats are not alike. Because my cat can quite literally meow for 24 hours in a row to be let in somewhere, and I know that. So
from experience. Well, he's going to prove me wrong now, just because I've said that on stream. So we'll see.
Just keep going. Lovely. Let's bring on our next player, which is Pierre. Pierre is going to be playing Marco Vermangia, a Bone Nora Philodox? Yes, Philodox.
Yep.
Yep.
And I guess picking up from the call that we gave to the relative of Marshall, which I think she was called Becca, and she came and picked us up, and took our car to the mechanics, to her shop, and it was not good. Basically the bottom had fallen off pretty much, and she did the typical mechanic, but seemed to actually take pity on us and our terrible things, like money situation. And while this was all going on, I sort of went over to talk to a homeless guy who was hanging out called Alf, asking him about if there were like any good places to stay or any places we should avoid. And while I was chatting to Alf, everyone else sort of noticed that like something was slightly wrong. Like there was a horrible stench, and Becca had been coughing like consistently and had some like illness or problem. And the more we sort of like hung around, the more we realized that this wasn't just a sort of, oh, it's an oily smell or it's a weird thing. It was a sign of the worm we felt. And so we followed this horrible trail to see where it came from.
Absolutely. And to tell us where it came from, let's bring on our next player, Chris. Chris plays Beanstalk, a silent strider Theurg and Metis, hence his rather unique appearance there. Chris, where did the trail of this horrible miasma take you to?
The trail led us out the back of this kind of, off the back of this street, I suppose, into this large abandoned industrial lot that had gone somewhat wild and overgrown. There were wrecks of cars, there were pools and puddles. Beanstalk took the opportunity of not being near humans anymore to stop being in his wretched pink suit. And then we continued to investigate gradually. We found that there was this spore-like substance and this unusual, the water pools that had congealed there, one, had not evaporated under the considerable heat of the sun, and two, hadn't, because I'm pretty sure that's not water. It was very unpleasant.
Yes, a horrible kind of bluish black ooze.
And I think that was about the limit until we kept walking in and discovered that there was some kind of structure towards the center.
Yes, although before that, it may be worth mentioning that you stepped sideways and had kind of a look at the landscape within the Umbra and determined that... Oh, no, you didn't step sideways. You peeked into the Umbra and definitely determined that you wanted to stay in the real world, because in the Umbra it looked far more dangerous with this corruption even more evident. And you traveled to the center of this wasteland and found yourself in a place which our final player, Holly, will describe. Holly plays Zoe, the Arun child of Gaia. Oh, can we get a bit of a zoom in there, Chris? Is that right? Yeah. Holly, tell us how we wrapped up last time.
So we came up to this structure that was covered in sort of thorny vines that were covering something underneath, and definitely got a sense of the worm from this. So naturally, Zoe and Layla, can't remember the pronunciation.
I think we settled on Lila.
Yeah, Layla transformed into Krenos state. And absolutely wrecked these vines, tore them to shreds in a matter of seconds, and then headed through into the structure underneath, which appeared to be some kind of abandoned bunker or industrial outbuilding. Either way, big concrete structure. And as we got past these vines, we heard a mysterious figure talking in a slightly weird language. And then when we rounded the corner, we saw said figure who promptly dived through a window and started screaming to presumably a companion that he knew the wolves would be coming.
Yeah, he seemed fairly distressed and fairly odd, and his body was kind of shifting and buckling oddly as he clambered into the concrete bunker. So clearly, not some kind of innocent mortal bystander here, and that's exactly where we are going to pick stuff up. So you are all of you, I believe, outside this concrete bunker where the individuals just dived in. The current situation you're in, I believe, is that Lila and Zoe and Beanstalk are all in Krenos, the kind of huge kind of wolf man, for want of a better word, form. And Pierre, I think Marco is just still in Homid, right?
Yep, I believe so.
Just holding your clave and yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you're around the back of this bunker. This quite a large little, like a box-like structure, not small but not terribly large either, made of pitted concrete. There are a number of barrels of this horrible ooze back here, at least one of which has kind of tipped over in the individual's flight and is now kind of horribly sludging its way across the surface of the wasteland. Yeah.
So I think that Zoe was like chasing this guy, so he's currently like scrabbling at the window,
Sure.
trying to look through. But I'll let other people get on for now.
Lila will be not far behind Zoe.
It's definitely worth saying there is zero chance of anyone in Krenos getting through that kind of sized window. But if you just poke your head through for a second, you will see that round on the opposite side of the bunker is a doorway, which you could definitely like hunch and squeeze yourself through.
Well, I guess if there's not space for the others, I can try and squeeze through.
Absolutely. If you manage it, you'll definitely be through quicker than the others are from running round.
Yeah, separated from my strong and valiant protectors.
Well, if you're going to do that, why don't you give me a dexterity plus athletics roll, please, to try and scramble up and through the window. And remember, folks, if I don't give you a difficulty, it's difficulty 6.
Cool. I'm rolling 4 dice. I got 2 successes.
That's easily enough. Yeah, you just kind of haul yourself up with what kind of one arm, while presumably holding your clave with the other, and kind of like tumble in an athletic fashion to the floor of the bunker inside, which is, despite the very, very bright summer's day outside, is a dark and foreboding interior, which is mostly as featureless as the outside, just thick pitted concrete walls, 3 or 4 kind of, and when I say windows, they are just kind of hot, like neat holes cut in the side of the bunker, and the same again for a doorway on the far side. The floor is littered with just random debris of stone chunks, some human detritus, and more or less at the center of the bunker, leading down below the earth, is what seems to be a set of concrete steps, cracked and scattered with gravel and soil. Unless the individual had some form of, spiritual or magical egress from this place, there is nowhere they could have gone other than down those stairs.
Sure. And are the stairs like wide enough for someone in Krenos to go down? In
single file, yeah. You can go. Sure. The others can go down in single file, yeah. It's a lot wider and more accessible than the bunker itself.
I'll say to the others, no sign of anyone in here. Get through the door. I don't feel safe in these darkened parts.
Yeah, as soon as Zoe saw the door, she was like running around the side. So yeah,
sure.
Can I take a hot second? And I would like. I understand we have enough points in totem for us to be able to contact Raven at will. if I recall.
I think actually the points that you had means that Raven knows where you are at all times.
Okay.
But not for contacting Raven directly yourself.
That's fine.
You can still beseech Raven, and maybe he'll respond.
I think I will just kind of, not so much a prayer, more of a, "Oh, Raven, eyes of Gaia, witness us, for we go to battle." But I would like to shift into Hispo and go through that window.
I think even for I don't think a Hispo would be able to go through that window.
Oh, Lupus then.
Lupus, definitely, for sure. Yeah.
So that's 2 steps.
It is indeed 2 steps. So just as a reminder to people, if you're shifting shape, that requires a stamina plus primal urge roll with the difficulty determined by the starting form. No, determined by the starting form, and the number of successes required equal to number of separate steps. So Homage to Krenos is 2, so this is, you need 2 successes at a difficulty of 6 on stamina and primal urge. I explained that in the worst possible way.
Oof, that's literally a botch.
Oh, I don't know what the official rules are on botching changing forms, but I'm going to determine right now is that you can't shift form until the end of the scene.
So I'm stuck in Bork Friend, or I'm stuck in Angry Chainsaw
You're
Friend?
Stuck in Krenos, right? I think you shifted to Krenos at the end last time for free because it's your breed form. So you are stuck in Krenos till the end of the scene.
However, I do you regain a rage. So
because you botched. Yeah, so regain a rage point if you spend.
Oh, excellent! That I had actually spent one last turn. I will follow the ladies around the side then.
Okay, so the 3 of you can make your way into the bunker. You know, it's the inside the bunker itself. You don't have to hunch over or anything. It's big enough, but it's definitely a little bit crowded in there, and definitely kind of crowded enough that all 4 of you can see quite easily down these stairs. At the bottom of it, the bottom of the stairs looks to be more kind of like a concrete tunnel of a similar sort of style to the bunker. And it's lit by a flickering and sickly-looking yellowish neon light. The wailing of the worm-tainted being can still be heard below, but it's receding away quite fast.
Yeah, Zora's going to chase it immediately, head first, basically on all 4s.
Absolutely. Beanstalk and Marco, are you proceeding just kind of at roughly the same pace or a bit more cautiously? I would ask Layla, but Inga's just like, yeah. So
I think I'll kind of maybe touch Marco on the shoulder and advise a little bit more caution. Us both being slightly less squishy than the Arun.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I might actually shift into Glabro, just like a little bit
heavier, bit heavier, more powerful. Cool. So that's just a stamina plus
7.
primal urge, one success at difficulty 6 you need.
It says difficulty 7 on my sheet. I don't know if
that's shifting from that shape, not to that shape.
Gotcha. Okay. So
the difficulty of changing is determined by the starting form.
You're in. Okay. So primal urge plus what? Sorry.
Stamina.
Stamina, which would be, so I'm rolling 4 dice at difficulty 6. I got 4 successes.
I can't give you anything extra, but you just snap into Glabro, just like hulking up there.
Although
we haven't actually talked about Glabro for anyone who's unfamiliar. By the way, there are 5 different forms of the Garu. Glabro is one we haven't covered, and Glabro is essentially just kind of a bigger, more muscly, hairier human. Someone who can kind of pass as a normal human being, sort of, but someone who you'd be like, whoa, that they've definitely got a bit of a caveman vibe about them.
The scale, the best way I remember the scale is going from Homid to Lupus. It's normal human, teen wolf, angry chainsaw, American werewolf in London, and doggo.
Sure. That will do. So with Marco in Glabro and Beanstalk, you're proceeding a bit more cautiously down behind the others. No problem. You all find yourself, obviously the Arun and the Galliard a bit faster in what seem to be seems to be a long concrete tunnel below it that has sort of old lead piping running along the side, but nothing much else. As you proceed forward, because Lila and Zoe, you said you were going at speed, so I might as well give you some extra information about this tunnel as we're going. You see that there's a couple of turns off at the end, and another turn off up ahead of you. There's also a couple of rooms to either side that you've passed already. All of them have been empty apart from some battered and rusty human machinery, the purpose of which has been undiscernible for a long time, you suspect. Everything seems to be lit by that harsh, flickering and jaundiced neon lights. It's very obvious very quickly because it's a fairly long tunnel and you pass a number of turn-offs and rooms. You're not going to be able to find the guy who ran down here, like, just by absolutely pelting it forwards, your sense of smell is being absolutely battered by the increased stench down here, and he's left no visible trail, and there are, as I say, a number of turn-offs that he could have taken already that you've passed. So I don't know what you want to do about that. You're probably outpacing Beanstalk and Marco quite a bit now. They're probably only just kind of coming down to the end of the stairs.
You said that the tunnel was lit by like a flickering neon light. Is that coming from any particular direction, or is that just the
all along
general lighting?
No, lots of still functional lighting all along the roofs. It all looks quite old. Yeah. I mean, we've got 3 homids here. You'll understand, so you'll be able to grok what, older technology or older lighting, looks like. This place looks like it's been semi-abandoned for decades.
Okay. In which case, yeah, as soon as we lose track of the trail, so it's just going to like freeze and then start trying desperately to sniff around past the nasty smell to try and see if she can track it.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Let's see if you can have any success with that. Because I don't want to say no.
Yeah,
so,
I know that it will be difficult. It's just that at the moment Zoe isn't really thinking very much because she's still in rage mode. So.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you give me a wits plus primal urge roll, and I'm going to want. I'm going to say it's difficulty 10. You're trying to pick up a scent in a place just overloaded with this foul smell.
No, I only got 9 and a 3.
At least you didn't botch. So, yeah. No, you're immediately kind of assailed by the stuff in your nostrils, and you kind of find yourself, you know, like when a dog gets into something, you're kind of there.
Yeah,
like trying to get the scent out of your sinuses.
Okay.
Lila, are you also kind of slowing down and backing up, or?
Yeah, I won't just crash right into Zoe. I think not for the guy, but if the stench has just been getting worse and worse, is there a particular direction to the source of the nasty stench, or is that just kind of all round?
Sure. Well, I think that's a similar role, I think, and that's going to be let's say wits plus primal urge. But you know what? I'll drop the difficulty for that. I'll drop the difficulty on that to 9.
Okay. 1 success.
Okay.
I did get a 10.
Nice. You don't think that you can. It's not a scent you can track per se, but you definitely think that like some directions seem to smell more, just ever so slightly, and you have the feeling that if you tried to track your way through what seems to be from what you've seen so far not a small set of underground tunnels, then maybe you could use that to your advantage. For example, if some rolls would need to be made in order to find your way through this maze of tunnels, then maybe Lila will get a little bonus to that. Marco and Beanstalk, you're now kind of coming up behind the other 2 members of the pack as they've kind of stopped and are more sniffing around.
Okay, I'll take that cue to sort of also stop. I want to detect if there's like any kind of breeze, or if it's totally still air. Because I think if it's totally still, then we know that the only way out is the way that we came, and we can afford to be like a bit slower. But if there's like a draft, maybe there's another way out.
Yeah. Why don't you give me a perception plus alertness roll at difficulty 9?
Okay. Alertness is 1.
Just realised maybe those sniffing around things should have been perception rather than wits, but no, we've done
dice. And neither of those are affected by my form. So 4 dice. 3. Oh no, difficulty 9. 0 successes.
Yeah, you just can't tell.
Okay.
I mean, if there was a really obvious breeze, I'd be telling you. But it's difficult to tell, and you can't.
But it's very subtle.
If there is, it must be quite subtle. Otherwise, you'll be able to detect it. Yeah.
Okay. Was I around? Did I hear what the guy said when he was
everyone did,
going to call his friend?
Yeah.
So they should be coming for us, right?
And if you want the direct quote, it was, "They're here, they're a coming. I told you, Wolves is here."
Yeah. But we can't hear anything now. No, like
no, retreated. The voice has retreated off into the distance now.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing I like in this, I don't know if people are doing it consciously, but like obviously when the vampire coterie was going around, there was a lot kind of like, oh, what do we do? And I like the idea that 4 of you are like so, like you're a pack. You don't really need to talk about it. You just do it. That's good.
Go for the objective.
Is Beanstalk looking to do anything at this point as the others are kind of taking things in with their senses?
What are our options with regards to going deeper? Have we reached the kind of dead end here? I think you were mentioning some spurs.
There's definitely some paths off to the side and paths off to head. You know what? I don't want to actually describe the number of different things. I don't want this to turn into a map plotting exercise. Yeah. Just know that there are a number of turnoffs. There's a number of separate rooms. The rooms don't, like a brief glance in them has told you there's nothing of any interest other than small rusted machinery. You are at the beginning of what seems to be a sort of kind of a warren of tunnels.
Sure.
So, like, basically, if you want to find your way through them to something of significance, we're going to have to start making rolls. But I don't know if you want to, like, any further checking out of stuff before you do that, or talk or whatever.
Given everything's stronger in the mirror world, I know it's risky. I know actually, I know it's a bit risky, but maybe we could get a better sense going sideways.
I'll take a look.
Could at least peek.
Yes, so, you could peek, and then we can ask Raven.
It's not pleasant in there. It wasn't pleasant outside. I suspect it'll be no more pleasant down here.
No.
Show me the glaive. Okay. Unless you want to go, Marco.
Nah, I'm okay. I think you're better suited. And then I present the glaive.
I'll kind of maneuver him under the flickering lights, because this is probably going to be a nightmare of a roll.
It's going to be a tricksy one. Don't forget, of course, that the worm doesn't especially affect the gauntlet. It's the weaver that does that. So in a worm-tainted place, it's not probably going to be much harder than like a Garu, one blessed by Gaia. So, but it is going to be rough because you're using a reflective surface that isn't anchored to the area. So the difficulty of that is increased by 1. I'm going to say this is going to be at difficulty 9.
And I will make that difficulty 8 due to my
you have the fear gift for that,
yeah. Well, not fear gift, it's a merit. Natural channel.
Oh, lovely.
And it's a gnosis roll, yeah.
It is a gnosis roll, yes. So gnosis difficulty 8.
No chance.
Nope.
Actually, that's a botch.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. I think there isn't an effect of a botch in this edition. I know in previous editions you attract the attention of unpleasant spirits and stuff, and weaver spirits. But here the only if you get 0, you just can't attempt again for 1 hour to step sideways.
Yeah, this
And let's describe it as you feel some resistance here, like, or maybe even Beanstalk, you kind of look in the clave, and as you kind of like try and look through, you just catch a glimpse of something. And like you blink away in kind of a natural recoil of something unpleasant here. And that connection's lost.
Not a chance.
Okay.
It's awful.
Well, sounds like we need to get the help of Raven then.
Okay, let's start exploring. Do we split up, or do we...
Absolutely not. We fight as a pack.
I gotta ask, sometimes it makes sense.
You humans.
So, if you want to make your way forwards, and I don't want everyone to roll for this. I need one person to roll for it at a time, but you can change who's taking the lead. And it's going to be a wits plus enigmas roll. And I imagine that Beanstalk probably has some pretty good stats in that area. So I don't know if we want to do that first. It's up to you.
I've got eight dice.
Wow. Holy heck, that's better than me. I got 5. Given it was your suggestion, actually, Marco, do you want to make the roll?
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense narratively other than me jumping in front of us.
Oh, Lila also has 8.
Wow, I am the worst.
I only have 4. I only have 4.
Oh, okay. But
4 witless wolf.
Is that because you guys have 5 in wits?
I have crazy high wits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only got 2.
And also 3 in enigmas. So
sorry,
yeah, but I was going
7.
to say, because you can only go up to 3 in enigmas, up to 3 in abilities at the beginning, can't you? I think so.
Yeah, sorry, it was 7, not 8. I misread that 4 as a 5. So.
Well, since I feel a bit guilty about, holding the glaive while Beanstalk hurt himself, I'll keep investigating. Okay, I rolled 2 1s and 5 successes.
Oh, thank God.
So,
okay, so that's 3 successes overall.
So that's 3 successes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So tell me how we're doing this. Is it basically a kind of Marco is like cautiously making his way forward, kind of thinking at intersections and sniffing the air or something like that, and the others are kind of prowling behind him? How does it kind of look and feel here?
I was imagining kind of like being quite methodical, creating a kind of mental map of the place, and then like maybe noticing very small like clues that like this is likely an area where a person could have gone.
Sure, maybe looking for like disturbed kind of gravelly bits on the floor, stuff like that. Yeah.
Signs of dust being disturbed, signs of
sure,
detective work.
And everyone just kind of following behind, kind of calmly and silently, and letting Marco take the lead, sort of thing.
Well, I'm trying to remain alert, but it's not I'm good at, so I'm just on edge the entire time.
Absolutely. So yeah, is this a good opportunity? I can't remember how we did it last time. Did we do basically what we did in Vampire last time, in that only one person really described their character? I kind of remember Chris describing Beanstalk, and I think other people mentioned themselves in Krenos, but I don't think anyone did kind of like a real big description of the character.
I've described myself in Krenos, and that's it. So,
Well, you know what, Chris, could we maybe have that picture of Marco up again when you've got a moment? And Pierre, tell us what's Marco's deal? What does he look like? What vibe does he give over as he's doing this stalking through these labyrinthine tunnels?
So Marco looks like he could really do with a meal. He's very like scrawny, and he has certain sort of, well, especially as he's not actually in homid form, he's like
glabro, of course,
he looks a bit more rat-like than you might expect for a werewolf, or he looks like a sort of rat-like dog. His clothes are kind of like patches on patches on patches. They are not in good state. Everything's been like scrabbled together. Yeah, he's rougher looking than I was able to make this picture look.
Sure. I have to admit, just in my head is Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Like that's not that far off, right?
Yeah,
he's
sure.
got that same kind of cunning.
Same kind of cunning, same love for milk, steak, and ghouls. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he's like kind of fidgety, and he's quite sort of high energy, and he's like looking all over the place. And that's so his investigation is very kind of like, it might look very chaotic, and it probably is very chaotic, but there is like quite a lot of like attention being paid to lots and lots of little things.
Yeah. I'm getting a kind of vibe with him. Like, he looks like someone who either could be very down on his luck or could be just a real tweaked up hipster sort of vibe. Like, yeah. He's either the guy who lives under the overpass or the guy at the corner of the gig.
Yeah.
Who is probably selling some stuff and has just a kind of odd scent around him. Yeah, sure. Well, that sounds good. You do feel like you're making progress through this sort of warren, and as you're moving further forwards, the stench is growing even stronger, which certainly I think probably Zoe didn't really think possible at this point. And a few times you pass points on the tunnel floor where the floor itself is cracked open slightly, and a sickly blue-black ooze is trickling from these cracks, with a miasma kind of literally visible, softly drifting up from the cracks in the floor. Like, are people just kind of cautiously stepping over these, or
Yeah, avoiding, I think.
Sure, because I think we did investigate the stuff a bit out in the wasteland and decided not to get too close to it, right? In fact, I remember maybe Zoe just about avoiding getting like a blast of spores in the face of it.
I think I prodded a mushroom with a stick and then recoiled viscerally.
Sure.
I wonder, like, I don't know if I have like some matches on me to see if it's flammable. I think I'm curious, so I'll like go over to some of the like the visible miasma and see if it like lights.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you think you have matches on you, I'm happy for you to have matches on you. Obviously, you've got to get kind of close to do that.
I do, yeah.
Let's see how well you do this. So can you give me a wits plus survival roll?
Sure. I have Apecraft's Blessings, which is, though many of Gaia's children use tools, none have mastered them so thoroughly as humanity. It says the Homid focuses this mastery into the tools she uses, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's just because you are a Homid breed. It's fine.
Sure.
What does that actually do for you, though?
It just means focuses this mastery into the tools she uses, causing their spirits to awaken and lend her aid. An ancestor spirit or spirit of a man-made object teaches this gift. So I think it's just that I'm quite good with human tools. I could be wrong.
It would be unusual for it not to give some kind of like concrete thing. Let me just have I can find it quite easily. 1 second, because it'll just be a starting Homid gift. Apecraft's Blessing. You spend a turn concentrating, and then you roll wits plus crafts at difficulty 7. Each success reduces a difficulty by 1 on the next roll you make for the character to employ a tool made by human hands. You don't need that for this, because I'm not making you roll to use the match. I'm making you roll is to make sure you're safe.
Yeah, how close. Yeah.
So
regardless of how adept I am with matches.
Yeah, just a wits plus survival roll, please, and just standard difficulty.
Okay, wits plus survival at 7 dice. Standard difficulty is 2 successes.
Okay. You kneel down by one of these cracks, and like I say, you can literally see this miasma kind of wafting up from the cracks in the pitted concrete floor of the tunnel. You get out a pack of matches, strike one of them, hold it out to it, and what you're expecting, perhaps, as I thought, is for it to light the stuff up. Instead, as you kind of like tentatively hold out the match towards it, the miasma just huffs out the flame almost instantly with a kind of like a little like the miasma kind of like blackens for a second as if you're burning some kind of particles, and that causes it to kind of like expand out a little bit, and you kind of jerk back from the that reaction of it, but not quite quick enough, and you do get a breathful of the foul burnt matter. Give yourself 1 aggravated damage, please. So there should hopefully be. Oh, you're using the digital versions. Yeah, aggravated is like the asterisk. Of damage.
So I'm now on. It's the equivalent of bruised.
Yes, which is no dice penalties. But still, the actual effect of this is that you have this horrible, harsh. We've all got breathed in fumes of some kind or other, right? And it's like that, but wound up. You have this choking, stinging sensation, like an acrid thing in your lungs, and you're probably hacking uncontrollably for at least a few seconds as you take it in, and it doesn't go away afterwards. Like, I don't know if anyone here has ever got anything caught in their throat or had it go down the wrong way, and then sometimes for hours afterwards, you just have this burning sensation there. It is like that. You just have this horrible, tainted sense of the worm just right at the back of your throat. And unfortunately, aggravated is quite difficult to heal from.
Not
aggravated.
For me.
Not for you?
Not for me.
Do you have a special thing?
I think that if I see this happen, Joe's going to
Mother's
instinctively
Yes.
revert back to Homid and rush over to Marco, and just like check that you're still all right and like pat you on the back, and in so doing is going to use the Mother's Touch gift.
Excellent. Which I believe, if I have you got the mechanics?
Yeah, I've got it here. So I
Right.
spend 1 gnosis and I roll intelligence plus empathy, and the difficulty is the target's rage. So what rage you on, Marco?
3.
3. Okay, cool. Cool. That is 3 successes, and I heal 1 damage of any type per success. So you're back. You're
pretty good.
So
is there any limitation on the applications of that?
I couldn't see any.
You spend a gnosis to do that, don't you?
You spend a gnosis.
Okay,
so
there we go. Yeah. And I imagine you're not too high on gnosis as an area.
No.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you can feel kind of the blessing and warmth of Gaia flowing from your hands into Marco, and Marco, you just feel like it's like you've had a big glass of chilled milk, just after eating some spice or having some unpleasant burning at the back of your throat, and it goes away. But you definitely get the impression you don't want to breathe in any more of this stuff.
Yeah, that made me almost forget where we are. Thank you. Thanks, Zoe.
That's okay. Just be careful, because
we can't even
is not
burn
a
it.
nice place.
Yeah.
No, but in some ways I'm glad that you couldn't, because I didn't particularly want to get singed today.
A fair concern. I'll be more careful. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So if the group is moving forward from this point, is Marco taking the lead again, or given he's kind of probably still rubbing his throat and kind of coughing?
Yeah, I think I'll hang back.
Is someone else going to try? I think Lila, you had the second most.
They start kind of sniffing on ahead and seeing what's what. Probably a bit less methodical looking than Marco's approach. Probably feels a bit more kind of instinctive and more about what kind of feels right. A bit more of a kind of inherent sort of drive. Yeah.
Cool. So that's wits plus enigmas. It's just standard difficulty.
5 successes.
Whoa,
very
3 of
nice.
which were 10s.
nice.
Lovely.
God.
Okay. Well, as you sniff your way forward, followed by the other members of your pack, one thing really strikes you, honestly, as you're making your way around this place. Firstly, is the tunnels are very maze-like, and just seen some of them like just kind of jut out at very odd angles from the ones you're in. The altogether kind of sense you get is that it's obviously of human design, but it really does not seem to have been laid out by a sane mind, but perhaps one contorted by the labyrinthine impulses of the worm. The other thing is that ahead of you and around you, and sometimes a bit behind you, the wailing has dissipated, but you are catching occasional snatches of voices heard in the distance. They don't sound like a mirage or any kind of like worm-like sorcerous trickery. They do sound like human-like voices that you can't quite make out what they're saying, but just the cadence and echo of them is odd in these slightly claustrophobic tunnels, and you can't really make out what they're saying. But there's definitely, there's at least one person down here. There's definitely more than one from what you can hear. Yeah. And there's kind of more of these cracks, but otherwise it's all very much, quite a uniform environment. You pass more rooms with like broken down old machinery in them. Nothing of any real vital interest. Are we proceeding? Is Lila carrying on leading the way, given her success, or passing the torch to someone else? It's up to you guys.
She feels there's like his snatches of voice. I think try and sort of ears prick and listen for that, and again keep that sort of drive forward. I think again still more of this kind of instinctive, almost like where does she feel pulled to, more than like a very like I'm actually stopping to try and listen out kind of thing. But I think that's the thing that's kind of caught her attention.
Sure. Sure. Well, whoever is leading the way, feel free to make another roll.
Go for it, Lila.
Why not let Krenos lead the way, right?
I mean, if you're walking into a trap.
3 successes. Okay, there we go. So as you proceed forward, those voices start to ring out a little clearer. And also, in maybe less good news, there are definitely kind of, do you remember the kind of fungal or moldy blooms that were over some of the rocks outside, which are the ones that they start appearing in patches over the walls as you get presumably closer and closer to the epicenter of this stench. And then you arrive at a doorway, because none of the doorways in this actually have doors in them. They're all just kind of like these concrete, bare concrete frames. You arrive at one that is literally just covered head to foot in these blue-black fungal blooms. And inside that, as you can see as you're approaching it, is a kind of a larger chamber, and one entire wall of which is primarily taken up with a scratched and warped but intact glass screen separating from the other side. It seems to be like a viewing gallery of some kind, and it's a room you can definitely all fit in. But you might want to try and step over the horrible fungus around the doorway.
Do we hear voices past the doorway?
You did on your way up to the doorway, but now they have dimmed. Lila, you can see into this viewing gallery clear enough to see there's no one in there. It's just kind of a slightly larger room, but it's definitely the direction the voices were coming from, you think.
So we said doorway, but I think you clarified there's no actual door.
Yeah, there's no door there. It's just an entrance, an empty frame, an empty concrete aperture.
Stalk in, I suppose.
I think Merlin will sort of stop to briefly sort of indicate this way, and then stepping over and in.
Absolutely. I'm not going to make anyone take a roll to kind of step over that stuff. I think that's it's better. Maybe if one of you is in Homid or I might ask you to do so, but you're all
I mean,
larger, so you can just step over it.
I reverted back to Homid, but
are in
I
Homid.
was I don't know whether I would have changed as we were going through this doorway.
You could, if you want, you can retrospectively roll for a change if you want. To have changed back in the meantime. It's up to you.
Sure, yeah, I'll try and change back into Krenos, but my primal urge is not great.
Stamina plus primal urge.
Yeah.
And that'll be difficulty 6. 2 successes.
Okay. No, only 1 success.
Okay,
so...
that means you're in Glabro though.
Yeah, that's
it
that.
doesn't
That's
get burned.
fine.
So
That's at least better.
Yeah, and that's absolutely fine. You can all get over this kind of patch of fun. You just step over it. The entire room isn't consumed by it. It's just once you step through, you can see that kind of the doorway and part of the wall by it is just this long stretch of foul-smelling substance clinging to the wall. And ahead of you is this, as I said, this glass screen separating you, and it's separating you from an even larger chamber than the one you're in. And your viewing gallery is kind of above the general level of that chamber, so you're kind of looking down on this this larger concrete chamber. And below you, you can see this room with a huge lead pipe running through it. A chunk has been removed from the top of that, kind of like a scoop removed from the top of that pipe near the center of the room. So you can see the foul blue-black liquid that fills in it, churning along sluggishly. Several half-full barrels stand nearby, and there is a figure squatted, cross-legged near the pipe, lifting palmfuls of the tainted substance to his mouth and swallowing them down greedily. He looks like some kind of like slight parody of, a human form given into to gluttony and greed, kind of rolls of sagging fat, covered in warts and patches of hair over his body. And as he's kind of reaching with big, sort of meaty, slightly point, kind of the tips of his fingers slightly pointed into it, you can see that behind him is kind of whipping around this odd kind of veined and pointed tail. You reach some conclusions from the previous individual you found. It's even clearer with this one. I don't want to kind of go, oh, it's this thing in the bestiary, but you are certainly all aware of Fomori, who are worm-tainted humans. These two individuals definitely seem to be this. The individual kind of who's sat squatted, like slurping up liquid from this pipe, is looking up at you.
Yeah,
and doesn't seem to be overly alarmed.
As
but
soon
can
as
see you through the glass window.
As soon as I would have seen that, I would have been I would have let out a deep guttural growl, and I look like I'm ready to shift forms and jump through the window unless anyone is going to stop me.
I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, okay. I spend a rage to change form into Krenos, and I'm going through the window. I'm going to jump at them.
Sure, absolutely. Let's do that. Let's go into combat rounds. This is a perfectly appropriate werewolf response.
See you in the new year, everyone.
So there we go. So yeah, let's get our initiative on the go. Oh yeah, Chris, I hate to lean on you, but can you sort the initiative banner as well, please?
Oh yes, let me see if I can remember how to do that.
In the meantime,
this is 1d10, isn't it?
It's 1d10 plus your dexterity plus your wits.
Dexterity,
so add your dexterity and wits together, and add your and add the roll of a d10 to that.
Dexterity in current form.
Yes, in current form. Yes. Okay. So I'm happy for that to be Krenos if you spent your rage to transform.
Yeah. Okay. So is that 1d10 plus dexterity
plus wits?
Plus wits. Okay.
So not a roll of them, but just add those two stats together and add the roll of a d10 to it. And then if you pop your numbers for that in the private chat for Chris to pop in, and I will do the same for a number of let's see. I actually have to do it for multiple individuals. So you know what? I don't know whether to just number them or name them at this point. Let's number them. That seems reasonable. So assuming everyone else has kind of done their stuff there, dexterity plus wits plus the roll of a die. Can you add to your lineup, please, Chris? Fomori 1 is at 7. And Fomori 2 is at 8. They are rolling spectacularly badly. Fomori 3 is at 18.
Oh, nice.
And Fomori 4 is at 10.
Matt, I think you made a mistake. You listed 4 Fomori, but we are aware of 2 Fomori.
And normally I'd be like, oh, shall I mention them now? But as soon as you jump through that window, then you will become aware of them. So,
presumably, this counts as the start of a tense situation, such as combat or confrontation, which means we regain 1 rage.
Go ahead and everyone regain 1 rage. Yes, absolutely. So yes, if once Chris has sorted those, as you like, PCs act faster than NPCs, and if there's any, I see we've got Lila and Marco are even, and in that case, let's let the tiebreaker be our rage amount, I guess. Which I imagine Lila has more of than Marco.
My rage, I think, rage starts at 0, right?
No.
Rage starts at your max then?
Correct.
Okay, so I was on 3.
I just meant your permanent rage anyway.
I have
like
6.
Max. So, yeah. So we'll put Lila before... No, sorry, Holly. Yeah, you don't roll your dex and wits. You just add them together and then roll a d10 and add it.
I believe in you.
I'm working very hard here, but the numbers is not my strong suit.
Don't worry about it. We will. We've had a glitch in the background of our access to StreamYard, so Chris won't be asked to do everything in future, but for tonight.
Okay, I think I'm getting there. Right, so let me see. We also have so Holly, what was your total? 8?
8.
That's sad.
But not the lowest. At least one Fomori came in below there.
No, I only rolled a 2. It's an unfortunate time.
You're going to want to roll higher than that if you want to go early in the round.
I'm saving the rolls for when I actually do damage.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good strategic move to save all your high rolls for when it really counts.
Yeah.
Okay, nearly there.
No problem.
I've got to think of what I'm doing. So, are we literally cut off from these people by this?
It's like a large window, but it's very scratchy, very warped, very old looking.
Sure.
So there
was a tie break between Zoe and the Formore. I put the player character first, unless you want to object to that. Right, I will modify this slightly to get the numbers off. Is everyone happy with that?
Yes, that's absolutely fine. Although I don't know the number of the Fomori, and they are different.
Oh, okay.
So if you could put like that first Fomori is definitely Fomori 3.
So okay.
But it's whatever the order is, whatever order I gave them you in.
Sneakily getting insider info. They're all different.
I regret to inform you I didn't make a note of that.
Okay.
I think Fomori 1 was on a 7.
I think so too. And I think Fomori 2 was on an 8. And I think Fomori 4 was on a 10.
Yeah,
something like that.
That's the truth now. Since you said
it. Sure.
No one can look back at the
Fomori 3 was definitely the fastest.
Oh man, Fomori 3.
Right, let's go, fluffy nerds.
Yeah, that sounds right. We'll run with that. I'm happy to get a cheeky extra action for Zoe in. I would say we don't have Marco on that banner, and I'm assuming he is acting.
I'm just after Lila on a 14.
He's just
but
being
let's-
stealthy.
Let's
We'll never
deal
see him
with
coming.
Zoe's extra action of battering through that window first, shall we? Because
Yay.
that's what kicked this all off. So basically, you have to roll to batter through it. It's not going to be a problem for you. That's going to be either your choice of strength plus brawl or strength plus athletics. Don't forget your your Krenos boost for that.
Strength plus
yeah.
brawl, please. That's many dice. Hang on.
Sure. And just standard difficulty is fine.
8
Lovely.
plus 3 dice. That's okay. Difficulty 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my god.
6. 6 successes. That was a poor roll on my part. I only rolled 4 10s.
That's absolutely fine.
So
I love Werewolf.
Yeah, you with a roar and kind of a blurring of form, you smash through the glass and kind of like descend down to the chamber below. It's not far enough, especially in Krenos, that I'm going to roll for damage or landing or anything like that. And you just you land on kind of the other side of this big pipe from the squatting individual who kind of gives out kind of like a sickly grin on his sort of portly, massively obese face, and just rises off the ground, hefting what looks like a rusty metal axe in one hand, and with the tail whipping back up, gripping what appears to be a suspiciously glinting metal dagger of some kind wrapped within the coils of it with the other. As he does so, he gives a gurgling cry of pleasure and just sort of howls something which it takes you a second to realize among the odd cadence of his voice is saying, "Come to Tommy!" Chris, can you change Fomori 4 to Tommy, please?
I'd rather not, but okay.
Trust me, it's worth it. So now we'll go into like the actual order properly. And if you remember, what we have to do is declare in reverse order and then carry it out in full order. So Fomori 2, this is the Fomori that everyone can now see is kind of like huddling in the shadows towards the back of the chamber away from you. You're almost certain it's the individual from up above, but you can see now that where it was just this kind of like skinny, grubby dude with like lank, long hair, now is an odd kind of like human thing covered in a kind of hide with a kind of a jutting out kind of sort of not a proboscis, but like sort of like what would you call it? Like a muzzle, like a like a odd horse-like face with a number of sharp teeth in it. He's kind of quaking slightly and peeking around the side of a big rusty ladder that's leading up to the back of the room. The room itself it has another equivalent balcony area over the back, and it has a dark doorway to either side of the pipe as well. That individual, that Fomori 2, doesn't seem to be intending to do anything this round. Zoe, what are you doing? I see rending in Tommy's future.
Yes, I would like to, well, not immediate rending. I would like to let out the loudest roar you've ever heard and start sharpening my claws on the ground next to me,
Sure.
reeling up to dive forwards towards these
Sure.
evil creatures.
So does it take an action to get your razor claws out?
It just says spend 1 rage. That I've
Okay.
written down,
Yeah, I
so
don't think you have to
yeah.
spend an action then if it's.
Okay. In which case, I'm going to try and intimidate them all with that roar, basically.
Okay.
Trying to get at least some advantage while I wait for my fellows to join me.
Sure, absolutely. Although they will act before you do.
That's fine. I'm literally just trying to scare the absolute pants off them.
Sure, absolutely. Fomori 1 is ducking out from the left-hand entrance of the room. Fomori 1 looks for all the world like I don't know if the Fantastic Four exist in the world of darkness, but if you imagine the Thing from Fantastic Four, but instead of that friendly bright orange rock covering, it's more like a twisted grayish, like a grayish bluish black, horribly pitted. It looks like maybe the concrete and the fungus and just the rock of this wasteland has somehow clad itself over him, and he looks like a big bulky misshapen mass of that, with just a pair of jeans, like at the bottom of it over his legs, and he's kind of wheeling around with a I don't know how familiar your characters are with guns, but he's got like two small SMGs in each hand, and he's literally just kind of like just spraying fire over the entire area. Tommy is just gonna leap forward and go for Zoe. He's just gonna like clamber over the pipe and try and take a swipe. Bean, what are you doing? Bean,
I am going to take 1 aggravated damage to activate my edgy boy skill, Primal Anger. That will give me 3 extra rage this turn.
Lovely.
What am I going to use it on?
You can use it for extra actions if you want.
Yeah, I think so. It's just who's my primary target. I think... Oh, okay, decision time.
Well, I actually say that, but you can't spend more than... In one turn, you can't spend more than half your permanent rage rating rounded up.
Yeah, so that's going to be 2 points. Okay, let's just spend 2 points of rage right now, and I'm on my way to a decision on what to do with them. I think I'm going to go straight for... Instinct tells me to go for the guy who's not going to be taking any action, which I believe is from Ori 1.
Sure, it will definitely take you a couple of turns to reach him, but you can do that because if you spend 2 rage, you're going to have 3 actions this turn. So you can jump down with 1 action, run over to him with another action, and then
have at him with the 3rd action. Instinct. I'm gonna go on that.
No problem. Marco, how about you? And Holly has put Razor Claws do take a turn to gear up. So Marco.
Do you reckon I can get down to where Zoe is in a turn?
It will take you 1 action to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get down to where Zoe is to back her up. Mm-hmm. My intention is to defend, I guess, against any oncoming attack.
Sure. Although you won't be able to unless you get another action via, for example, either splitting your pool or spending rage.
Okay, I will just get down to where Zoe is, try and clamber down.
Sure, absolutely. Lila.
I would like to use my Call of the Wild. So it's Werewolf may send a howl far beyond the normal range of hearing, imbue it with great emotion, stirring the hearts of fellow Garu and chilling the bones of all others. So roll stamina plus empathy. The number of successes determines how far away the call can be heard and how stirring it is to those who hear it. And the storyteller determines the effects as appropriate to the purpose.
Okay.
We're going to give some examples like awarding a bonus die to participants for each 2 successes, or granting a point of rage to all listeners for exceptional battlefield howl, things like that.
That sounds great to me. And then the last for Mori.
And can I use rage to also jump down?
Yes, absolutely. Just spend 1 rage and you'll get that extra action at the end of the turn.
Cool.
At the end of the round, I should say. Otherwise it gets confusing. The final for Mori, which is one that is emerging from the darkness of that balcony on the other side of the room, kind of almost like descending from the shadows in a corner. And this for Mori is an odd, elongated, hairless human form covered in kind of glinting shards of bone emerging from various places on their body. They at first appear to be kind of almost hovering in midair or gliding before you realize that several parts of the room seem to be covered in an odd looking, unpleasant, translucent webbing that they're moving down and descending, presumably a webbing that they've extruded from their own form. And that individual is kind of coming down these webs at speed in order to attack Zoe. So there we go. And now we will do those things in that order. So this Fomori is going to be attacking Zoe first. And let us roll that attack. So that will be a dexterity plus a brawl roll, I believe. And yeah, let's see how this does. Yep, that is a hit. But you don't get damage boosted in anything but range damage for the amount you hit, which is good because he did do a very good roll. And now the damage roll on that is going to be a certain amount. And rolls not bad there either. So I did do the soaking here. Okay, so this Fomori, Holly, has hit you, kind of basically has glid down these webs and leapt across the room towards you and swiped out. And you know those kind of jagged bone shards that I mentioned? They kind of slice into you as it kind of like, it seems like a very athletic, acrobatic opponent, and it's just kind of slicing across you with one extended arm. And that damage you can feel immediately is aggravated. It's not silver, but it is aggravated. And the two things do actually work slightly differently. So in terms of your soak, aggravated damage can be soaked by Garu in any form except their breed form. You are not in your breed form, so you can try and soak it. It's just a normal difficulty 6 stamina roll. And in case anyone wants to, I don't have to explain that the soak mitigates damage. I guess maybe I do. Maybe this is your first tabletop RP viewing. But that's what it does. 3 successes. Then you know what? You still feel that slice into you. You feel like the flesh of your side of your ribs just parting like a steak. You know, like he's using a steak knife to slice across you. But it's not a deep and terrible wound. Just take 1 aggravated damage. Yes, which I think takes you to bruised, right? Because I don't think anyone else. I think only Marco took some damage so far. So,
yeah,
but that is gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is Fomori's attack. Lila, let's try your howl, shall we?
So I rolled five successes on the howl.
Ooh. Well, you know what I'll say then? I'll say it suggested an extra die for every 2 successes. So let's go with everyone on your next action only, not like every action this round. So that'll up to, it won't carry over because we haven't had an action yet. Every first action you take this round that involves rolling dice gets an extra 2 dice. Lila, do you want to describe your howl? Kind of like what you look like as you're doing it, how you're doing it, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So previously a sort of, almost blonde husky kind of look. Or maybe a sort of retriever / husky kind of look almost. But like as soon as the howl comes in, like anger sets in, that almost sort of like angry look the huskies get with the little like furrowed brow kind of bit. They sometimes have
hackles raise.
Like that like really sets in, and then the growl is just a lot more kind of low and guttural than you would expect from her. She's otherwise fairly like chirpy and happy-go-lucky, but this is now like go time, and this is a deep guttural growl and howl.
You're on mute.
Muted.
You're still on mute.
Still on mute. It's because when we do the banners, you can't see your mute thing. So the whole chamber kind of reverberates with Lila's howl. You don't see any kind of visible sign of quailing or fear on part of the Fomori, but most of these creatures are kind of, they're just berserk agents of the worm by the time they become this corrupted. Although the one at the back just does seem to be cowering a little bit further. So maybe it has had some effect on them. And then obviously you said you wanted to spend a rage and leap down, but your leap down will come at the end of everyone else acting. Next up is Marco, and I think Marco, you were just descending, right?
Yep. Just trying to get down.
Absolutely, and you're in Glabro, so I
Yep.
think I'm happy for you to kind of descend again without the need to climb or anything like that, and you just kind of slam into the ground next to where Zoe is, and where this odd webbing bone blade Fomori is kind of trying to slice into her. Beanstalk, it's your turn, and your first turn I think is just descending again, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But all of my rage actions are in now, so I think I get an attack on this one.
But at the end of the round,
At the
extra
end of the
actions in anything you do to cause extra actions, like celerity and vampire rage in this, you get basically the round continues with another rotation at the end, and then another and another until everything's done. So you hit the ground on the other side of Zoe. So like the three of you now are just kind of lined up to face like this Tommy creature coming towards you, this other Fomori gliding down its webbing. And then we have indeed Tommy's action, which is attacking Zoe, and he is going to, he's actually going to split his action. So he's going to attack once with the axe and once with the tail. And with a kind of sickening lurch in your belly as you see the glinting, you're fairly sure, Zoe, that dagger in its tail is silver. So that's fun. But we'll do the axe attack first, shall we? We'll give everyone a chance to just rip him apart before that knife strike comes in. And it's also going to half his pool. So I believe multiple actions in this, if I am correct, is like when taking multiple actions one turn, select the smallest dice pool and split those dice between the actions you're attempting. Okay, yeah, sure. And these are the same actions because he's just attacking twice, essentially. So the pool for that attack is going to be not that big, honestly. So splitting those, you know what? This is the first action. We'll take more dice for this one, which is good news, right? It is a hit as Tommy slashes out with the axe. But the axe is certainly not aggravated damage. It's just going to be lethal damage. So, that is a terrible damage roll. So your lethal soak, it's just normal soak. Again, it's just like your stamina. And don't forget your boost for being in Krenos. Generally speaking, all soak rolls you might make are always just a stamina roll. It's just the effects might be slightly different.
Only one success on that.
Only one success. Well, maybe it's the distraction of the other Fomori coming in alongside you, but Tommy's axe flashes out with quite a clumsy blow, and you kind of in a split second decide, I'm just going to block this with my arm. And it's not a terrible method, but the axe does definitely bite in to the flesh of your gigantic forearm, and just deals one lethal.
Which is that again? X /
they're in order. They're bashing lethal and aggravated, and they are it doesn't really come across in this, but it's so because they kind of overlay each other. So it's if you're noting them down on an actual pen and paper one, the slash is the bashing, and then another slash makes it lethal, and then a cross makes it aggravated. But obviously, it doesn't quite come through on a PDF. But yeah, so that'll put you on.
I'm on hurt at the moment.
Hurt, and that just means that any action you do has a -1 die penalty. Yeah. Although isn't there something about rage? Yeah, I think you can spend a point of rage to ignore wound penalties for a round or something like that. I think there's something like that. Maybe not. Maybe not. I thought there was something like that. Yeah, never mind. Lethal, though, it's worth noting, you actually automatically heal 1 lethal per turn if you're outside your breed form. Although with lethal, if you're in a stressful situation, i.e. combat, you have to roll to see if you manage it. But we'll do that. We'll do that at the beginning of next round. It doesn't say when in the turn it happens, but I'd say at the beginning seems like an appropriate way. So, okay, Fomori 1 is now going to spray and pray with those SMGs basically over everyone who's jumped down. So what that involves is a dexterity roll plus their firearms plus 10 dice. So I'm going to have to re-roll. But what this does essentially is just empty the magazines. So, there's some reloading in this guy's future. So let's go with that. That is 3 successes. So remember that. And then roll the extra dice. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is that. So now what happens is, because it's kind of spraying it over everyone, essentially spraying the fire over everyone, that gets divvied up between you. I am going to randomly figure out which one of the 3 of you who are down in the chamber are going to get hit with 1 extra dice worth of damage, and that is going to be again, solid luck. That's Zoe. So this is, but this isn't too much damage, and it's lethal. He's not using silver bullets or anything like that.
I'm the tank anyway, so like
exactly.
Yeah.
It's all fine. It's all fine. So I'll just make sure you all actually need to do a sub roll. Otherwise, you'll be doing it pointlessly. Okay. Marco doesn't need to do a soak roll. None of the bullets hit you. Chris and Holly, though, can I get a soak roll from both of you?
I'm a small target.
Yeah, I guess you are the smaller target.
I'm used to guns in New York.
Only 1 success from me again. I keep rolling 1s. So.
Sure. How about you, Chris?
1 success here as well.
Okay. In that case, Beanstalk, you feel like something kind of patter off your hide like a hailstone. And Zoe, on the other hand, you feel like a sharp sting in kind of your thigh, as if something has punched you from afar. Just 1 more lethal damage. So not too bad. As like this like thing like creature is firing, it's kind of like bellows loudly in glee, with an odd grating voice as it goes, "Mikey's got a gun!" Can we call for Mori 1 Mikey, please?
Tommy, Mikey. Got to place your bets about what the other 2 are called.
What the others are called. Yeah, absolutely. So I realized I just told him to take. Okay, Zoe. So you are next. So you are
Sharpening those claws. Sharpening those claws.
Sharpening those claws. Yeah. So spend
Yeah.
a rage point, and your claws are razorified.
Yeah,
I believe is the technical term.
Yes, they are indeed razorified, but that means that I get 2 additional damage dice made at -1 difficulty. So
you're going to
when it comes time to rip things apart, things shall be ripped apart.
Absolutely. And are you doing this in that? But I believe last time you did that, you kind of like dashed forward, like dragging your claws along.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that's if I've been hit by that for more enough, like being pushed back slightly, I'll basically have been doing that as I like dig my claws into the ground.
Yeah, kind of like slash along the ground.
Yeah,
and maybe that even like drives Tommy back a bit with like sparks coming up from the things, kind of. As he's slashing at you. So that's Zoe's action. Fomori 2 is going to continue cowering at the back, isn't going to do anything. And now we go to our like extra actions. So if we run through again, Lila, I believe you have a second action, which is just jumping down to join the others. So you land there, and now you're among them. Beanstalk, I believe your second action is to like move forward and leap over that pipe and dash to where the Fomori is kind of cowering at the back behind a rusty ladder.
Yep, first of 2 rage actions.
Absolutely. And then we get Tommy's attack on the silver attack on Zoe. So in order to do that, let us roll. That is a miss. That is a miss. So that silver dagger lashes out in Tommy's tail and just manages to miss Zoe. In which case, we now go to the only person with a third action, which is Beanstalk, who is, I believe, going to attack the cowering Fomori. So make yourself an attack, friend. What kind of attack is it going to be? If you look on your second character sheet at the bottom right, there is a list of a brawling chart with a list of different kinds of attacks.
Yeah, I think we're going straight up for the old crawl or the claw here. Normally, when I play Werewolf, I'm a bite friend, but I don't think I'm going to like the taste of these ones.
That there is something to be said for that. Holly, regarding your question of the damage, it will, the damage. That's a good point. Does damage push down, Chris?
Yeah.
So should the aggravated be now further down?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? As the first thing done. Yeah. So damage gets pushed down. So you're aggravated.
It's so much more easier if you're on pen and paper. You don't have to click the box.
That's what I was assuming. Is this is a game built for pen and paper and not form fillable PDFs?
Actually, isn't it the other way around? In that the lesser damage goes further down because that's what you heal first.
Yeah. So you push. You are right. Yeah.
So you're aggravated because you've got 1 aggravated and 2 lethal, right? Yeah, so your top line will be aggravated, and then your next 2 will be lethal because they'll be the first healed. Does that make sense? Cool. So you're
using the extra rolls that they've had from Call of the Wild.
Yes, absolutely. So Chris, roll your Dex plus. Are you just clawing it up, right?
Just clawing it up, which is
Dex plus Brawl plus those 2 from Call of the Wild, and everyone can just take it on the next time they roll because people haven't had a chance to roll yet. So just whatever your next roll is.
5. Oh my god, hang on. Dex is 3, plus Brawl is 1, which is 4.
Is your Dex 3 in Krenos?
Sorry, no, Dex is 4 in Krenos, plus 1, which is 5 from Brawl, plus 2, which is 7 from the bonuses. Pretty sure that's right. And we're difficulty 6. We are difficulty 6.
I believe in you.
Oh my great lord. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes with 2 10s.
That's wonderful. Just a shame it makes no difference to the damage. Only firearms do that. That's kind of like the thing of making firearms a bit more effective. It's
style points.
The better you shoot, the more damage
points,
you do.
Though I expect
style points. The description is going to be on point. Let me tell you. Let's get a damage roll from you. So that's strength plus 2, I believe, for a claw, and don't forget to add your Krenos strength, obviously.
So strength is 6 plus 2 means it's 8 dice. God, I love Werewolf. Holy God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 aggravated damage.
7 aggravated damage. Brilliant. What was that roll? You can't have been rolling many more than 7 dice.
No, that was 8 dice, wasn't it? Hang on.
It might have been. I don't know. So it's just your base strength plus 4 plus 2, I guess.
Yeah. So that's 8. It was 8 dice.
8 dice. 7 successes on 8 dice is pretty damn good. You kind of bound over this pipe and leap across the room and swing out, and the Fomori is kind of like cowering behind this rusty ladder. And as you kind of leap forward, you hear it kind of gurgling in this odd, like liquidy voice that you recognize as kind of the voice of the individual who ran from above. And he just kind of goes, "Is this the end of Billy?" And with one swipe, you tear through the ladder and Billy behind the ladder. And he just has time to make a kind of noise before he comes apart in two lumps and hits the floor with what is actually a splash as he dissolves into this thick, viscous reddish brown liquid that immediately starts bubbling on the concrete floor, and you get like this scent of kind of acid burn. We can safely let's keep Billy on there because I like having all their names. But Billy is done. Billy is done.
Thanks for making me
was
feel
indeed.
bad for killing a Formor.
I can assure you, he's done real bad shit. It's all fine. So
I don't
there we
believe
go.
you, Matt.
That's the end of the combat round. Let's go back to the beginning, and by the beginning I mean the end, because obviously we declare in reverse order. But before we do so, anyone who's taken damage, so that's definitely Zoe. I don't think there's anyone else, right? So you can roll to see, because you're in a stressful situation. So let's roll to see if you heal one lethal. So that is a stamina roll at difficulty 8, and just if you get a success, you heal one of those lethal levels. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Don't botch in that, by the way. If you botch, you can't regenerate.
No. I didn't roll any ones, but I rolled a 10, a 9, an 8, a 7, and a 3.
Awesome. So yeah, that's one lethal can be removed.
So I do have a point of aggravated damage from activating my gift, but 1, I am in breed form, and 2, I don't think you heal aggravated damage.
You heal it 1 per day outside of your breed form.
Okay.
So not in combat, certainly. But yeah, Zoe, you feel like the flesh. Let's say that axe wound in your forearm. You feel the flesh knitting together in that familiar sort of not entirely pleasant kind of stinging sensation. You know, like I always like it when people regenerate. There's a line in the original X-Men film, folks, when Rogue asks Wolverine if it hurts when the blades come out, and he says every time. And I think the healing hurts as well as slightly as the flesh knits back together. So in reverse order now, Zoe, you're probably pretty mad.
Yeah.
What would you like to do this round?
I would like to reach into this like weird spider guy's throat and rip his spine out.
No problem. So that's a claw on him. So how about Mikey? Mikey is going to reload and fire. You can reload and fire on the same turn. It just reduces your number of dice that you have. So that's what he's going to do. Tommy is going to carry on attacking Zoe, and is also going to split his actions again to do like that double attack. Beanstalk, you have just a puddle of Billy in front of you. What are you going to do?
I will probably put another rage in.
Mm-hmm.
Just one this time. And that will allow me to close the distance against, let me see. So for Mori 3 was the scary spider one who's now engaged.
Well, kind of with Zoe, but don't obviously, like, because we're used to Simbaroom, there isn't a concept of engagement in this. But yeah, he's definitely fighting Zoe. But Marco and Lila are also over there. So
yeah.
Mikey is the one that isn't engaged, is the one that's like got the SMGs and is
just shooting us freely.
So can I still make it over to him in one turn as well?
Yeah, you can spend a turn to move over to him because Billy was quite upset apart from the rest. But you can spend a turn to get over to Mikey and then attack him as part on your second rage action.
Yeah, I think that's my action, and I'm going to go and have a chat with Mikey.
Absolutely. Marco, what are you doing, friend?
I think I'm going to try to touch. Is it Mikey, the one with the tail and the?
No, that's Tommy. Tommy is the.
Oh yeah, Tommy. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try and like touch Tommy and use scent of sweet honey.
Okay.
Which
is that's a sticky thing, right?
Yeah, it's a target the Garu touched at some point during the last hour begins to exude a wonderfully sweet aroma and becomes slightly sticky to the touch. All manner of vermin quickly appear and coat the victim. The resulting coat of gnats, flies, bees, and beetles crawls, stings, and generally impairs vision and hearing. And I have to spend a gnosis point.
I have never, ever seen this used in combat.
So I'm assuming that's like a bone gnawer gift. I would assume.
I roll
seems
wits
that
plus
way.
subterfuge at difficulty 7. The target suffers a -1 penalty to all actions for 1 hour per success.
Nice.
The
That's
smell
pretty
will
damn
not
good.
wash off during this time.
That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. I like that. And yeah, you know, the dude seems dangerous. So yeah, good stuff.
Now he's dangerous
Lila,
and sticky.
you are down among it now. How about you?
I'm trying to decide which of these guys looks the most scary or immediately dangerous to Zoe.
I mean, looks the most scary. It's the spider guy in terms of has the silver thing.
Would I have
Definitely
seen that?
spider guy or Tommy, I think.
Yeah. Would I have seen the silver on the blade?
Yeah, I think so. Wolves are
yeah.
pretty attuned to it. Like, you might even feel it near you. So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all right. I think Tommy it is then. And yeah, again, I think claws out, trying to just at the hand he's wielding it, and I just want to just going for his shoulder, that whole arm, and just try and whip him to shreds.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, the spider guy is just going to straight up attack Zoe again, and he will get to take his action first. So let's go with him, which is going to be that standard roll again. And yes, he hits. And then the damage is going to be for... Yes, okay. Can I get a regular old soak from you, please, Zoe? And obviously this is going to be aggravated, but
5 successes.
Oh, that's a bit better, isn't it?
That's nicer.
Yeah, the kind of spider-like Fomori again. Sort of this time, you know, the others all seem a little bit clumsy, or I don't want to use the word goofy, but like, you know, they're just kind of mishmash, amalgam, horrible mutant things, but this one almost seems crafted with some kind of elegance, and he kind of tips onto one arm and raises, and you know, like a kind of capoeira kick, like swings one shin up at you, and the razor bone shards kind of slice near your face, but you just duck out of the way, and the fur it clips a bit of fur off your jaw, but nothing else. You feel like if you hadn't been on point, it definitely would have hurt, but as it is, doesn't manage to do anything to you. Lila, so you are carrying out an attack against Tommy, I believe. Is it going to be just a regular good old claw? Oh, we may have lost Inga. Either that or Inga is just pretending to be very still.
I think I choose to believe that one.
Choose to believe that one. Well then, let's quickly move on to Marco, and we'll come back to Inga if she reappears. Marco, I believe you were going to try to
sort of
sticky up Spider Boy,
slip past, and get a hand on him.
Sure. So what's that roll you have to make again?
I have to make it's subterfuge plus wits, but I have no subterfuge. So
yeah, and you have to spend a gnosis point to do it. Oh, interesting. Inga is in our private chat, but not I don't even know how that's possible. But yes, a claw. Well, while we wait for you to come back, Inga, your claw will be dexterity plus brawl at difficulty. Oh, there we go. Hello.
We can hear you, but your camera is still showing
frozen.
Yeah.
So you might want to turn it off and on. If that's possible.
See if that's any better.
Just return straight to the thing. Do you want to try and hop out of the studio and hop? Oh no, there we go. There we go. We're back. Yes. We're back. Cool. Hold that thought, Marco. Let's do this attack from Lila. So that is dexterity plus brawl difficulty 6 for a claw.
Okay. And I mean Krynos, so that's an extra
1 dexterity.
1 for dex. Perfect. 2, 3. 3 successes.
Fantastic. That's all we need. And then what you are doing is a strength +2 damage roll. And don't forget your extra 4 dice being in Krenos. So, yeah. You guys know where to find your different form stat boosts, right? On the
On the page 2.
So did you say it was strength +1 plus Krenos?
Strength plus Krenos +2.
Oh, +2. Oh, that's a lot of dice. That's
and 10. I should have given you the bonus for oh no, you did the call. Never mind.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made a difference anyway.
You don't inspire yourself.
You already hit.
2, 3, 4. 4 successes.
That's 4 successes on good old Tommy. And Tommy does Tommy have any aggravated soak? Tommy does not have aggravated soak. Your teeth and claws all do aggravated, by the way. So did you say that was 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. So Tommy, poor Tommy, you sort of leap forward, kind of claws out, kind of swiping furiously as Tommy kind of tries to carry on attacking Zoe and backs away from you. But I think you said you were targeting his arm, right?
Yeah, that's sort of into the shoulder and on that sort of side where he's holding the...
I think what you've done is kind of like ripped huge gouging chunks out of like his upper torso and his shoulder and his upper arm, and he sort of like flips the axe to the other arm and is desperately wailing away with it, but is kind of looking down at the tattered remnants of his right arm that you've laid into, and he kind of glances briefly over at the spider guy and goes, Dwayne, kill him. Can we call Fomori 3 Dwayne, please? Because if there's anything I've learned about calling a group of people all names that end in E, it's that one of them should not be called that, so you can say their name last.
But you missed the opportunity to call the rock one Dwayne.
I did. I just liked him being called Mikey.
Surely,
yeah, no, it's better.
He should have been Tommy because he had the guns.
That too. I managed to successfully avoid all puns. Thank you for the recognition. Yeah. So we move on to Marco. Spend 1 gnosis and make your sticky roll, your scent of sweet honey.
Yep. So I'm inspired by Lila's
the howl. Yep.
Lila's howl. I get an extra couple of dice, so I'm rolling 7 dice instead of 5.
And it's difficulty 7.
Difficulty 7. I rolled 3 successes.
3 successes. So Dwayne gets a -3 on all rolls until you. It won't wear off by that time. Do you want to talk about what this looks like and maybe also what it smells like?
It smells incredibly sickly sweet. It is like unpleasantly sweet, but it's not like it still seems like honey-like in some way. So by comparison with the stench of this place, actually it might be a pleasant refrain.
Sure, it probably is. Yeah.
But yes, it is unbelievably sweet.
Yeah,
and it has certain floral notes.
Immediately, I think like from over the pipe there were probably a number of gnats and midges and unpleasant fluttery things like around there already, and they start to like swarm and buzz around Dwayne almost immediately as he kind of reels and like twitches and gives out just, Dwayne doesn't really talk. Dwayne is more of a hisser, so he's just giving out this kind of noise as he's trying to still kill Zoe with all this stuff clagging and clinging to him and stickying up his webs. So there we go. Beanstalk, I believe you take this first action as dashing over to where Mikey is.
Yep.
And Tommy, for his part, is going to be... Oh, God, his dice pool's rubbish now, I'll tell you that. He is going to make the first of 2 attacks on Zoe. And this first attack does hit. And that's going to be his axe attack, which does... Do you need a soak? You will need a soak roll for it. Yeah. Just a regular old soak roll, please, Zoe.
Less good. No successes on
No
that
successes.
one.
Clearly, maybe he's just desperate from what Zoe has done to the remains of his arm, because he flashes out a swipe with his axe, and it does bury itself into your hip painfully for 2 lethal damage, please. And then we have Mikey. So Mikey is going to, as I said, reload, and he's going to just empty out once more with a spray of bullets across everyone, which now includes all 4 of you. So that is going to be reloads lose 2 from his shooting pool, so that is going to be an initial 4 and then 10. So that's 1, 2, 3 to start with. 3 to start with, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's not too bad. Oh god, so 7 between the 4 of you. So I will once again roll for who takes the 1, as it were. And that is going to be, there's something about Marco. There's something about Marco, like he says, just good at not being shot, I guess. But the others of you, I'll roll for you here one by one and tell you if we need soak rolls. So Chris, you absolutely need a soak roll. Zoe needs a soak roll. And Lila does not need a soak roll. None of the bullets come near you. And Marco also does not need a soak roll. So just one from the first 2 of you, please.
Only 1 success from me.
Only 1 success.
Oh, no.
So again, Beanstalk, you feel like the pattering of a small insect off your hide as Mikey is again kind of like just spraying around the room. And like Tommy seems a little desperate now. Dwayne seems frustrated, but Mikey is just like some kind of like maddened, just weird Muppet creature spraying these bullets across the room. So did you say 1 success on your soak roll, Zoe? Yeah, just take 1 more lethal damage as another round slams into let's say your arm. What is your health looking like now?
I am now on mauled. I am -2 to
-2.
everything.
That's fine. That's all fine.
Step away from crippled. Yeah.
Absolutely. But it is your turn.
Yay.
So basically you can just ignore the wound penalty, right? Because you gain an extra 2 from Lila's howl.
Pretty much.
So you're just on evens essentially, and you're attacking Tommy again, right?
Yeah.
So not only do you get extra damage, is it like an extra 2 damage to the hit
So
from your razor claws, and I made it -1 difficulty. So cool, I got it right here. So what we want is a claw roll from you, which is dexterity plus brawl, and that's going to be difficulty 5 because of the razor claws.
Yeah. So that's 3 successes.
Fantastic. So what we want from you now is your damage roll on Tommy. Poor Tommy. And that's going to be your strength +4 for your Krenos, +2 for just the claws in general, and plus another 2 for the razor claws. So your strength +8 in dice. Werewolf. I don't think that Tommy gets... No, he does not get any aggravated soak.
Oh, we've lost.
Oh, die down.
Okay, it was a success once I rolled it again. Okay, this is difficulty 6 success, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. So Tommy, like I say, like swung wildly with that axe into you, and you kind of instinctively, lightning fast, just lash out hard. And at first, kind of like, because Tommy is just a conglomeration of lumps on top of lumps. at first he just like a puzzled expression crosses his face, and then his head just rolls back and off to the side and kind of splashes into that pipe, sending like a spray of the blue-black goop around. And for a second his arm like spasms and the tail spasms around him, and then his large unpleasant form just topples over to the side and hits the floor with a crash. Tommy is no more. Billy's already done. Let's go on to the extra actions. I think the only extra actions this round is Beanstalk, who's attacking Mikey.
Yep.
So is it just another claw? Just a regular old claw me do?
I'm still concerned about licking these ones.
Yeah. So that is, just a Dex plus Brawl, please. Difficulty 6.
4 successes. Goodness me. After a number of botches, it's been going pretty well for me.
Well, that is fine then. So just your just your claw attack, please. That's strength plus 2. And Mikey does get aggravated soak for this. His kind of concretey rock-like skin. No, he rolled a bit of a blinder on that soak as well.
Well, it's going to have to be more than 5.
It is not more than 5. You swipe at Mikey and like the sparks I described as like Zoe sharpened her claws on the floor. It's a similar kind of thing. Your claws partly kind of lodge in this kind of heavy rock-like crusty covering over the foremost body, and you kind of rip kind of like chunks of it out that just come away under your claws. But it doesn't seem to penetrate like as deep as you'd like or cause like a really mortal wound. I'm thinking like for any fans of the show of Game of Thrones, do you remember the grayscale and like that kind of like just chunks of it coming out as it was peeled off? That kind of thing. It's really quite unpleasant, and you now have bits of 4 more under your claws. You definitely wounded him, just not horribly. And Mikey is kind of like flailing at you now with like those kind of empty, drained SMGs and kind of like battering away at you and kind of going, "Bad dog, bad dog."
Oh, they're so adorable.
So in a way, so let's go back round. So Zoe, what are you going to do this round? I suspect Dwayne's in for a bit of a slashing.
Oh, hang on. Which was Dwayne again? Was
Dwayne's the spider guy?
Because I thought I was attacking the spider guy.
Oh, sorry.
I can't remember. Either way, I kill whatever in front of me.
Sure. Absolutely. You can have a go at Dwayne. Mikey, I guess, is probably not going to reload and fire his SMGs, but instead is probably going to try and start punching Beanstalk, which probably won't have a great result, but he's going to give it a go anyway. It's, the worm loves a trier. And Tommy's dead. Beanstalk, more Mikey death.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna kind of yes, but in such a way that I want to make sure his attention's on me. I know that's probably guaranteed at this stage.
Definitely is. Yeah. Definitely. Marco.
I am going to use my clave on Mikey, I think.
So you're going to kind of dash over to where Mikey is with Beanstalk.
Yeah, and try and save.
Sure.
Oh wait, sorry. I didn't mean Mikey. Spider-Man.
Dwayne. Yes. Dwayne the spider.
Spider-Man. Dwayne the spider creature.
Yes, absolutely. Lila, you can probably attack. You're in a kind of a position to attack either of them, honestly, if you want.
I think I'm gonna howl again. A Call of the Wild again, and rage to then attack Dwayne after.
What do you spend for your Call of the Wild, by the way?
It is system. The player rolls stamina plus empathy. The number of successes determined so far. Now, stirring is the gift can be used in conjunction with one of the Gary howls.
Okay, so you don't spend a
Doesn't
gnosis then.
say no.
That's fine. It was just like you can't spend rage and gnosis in the same round. So I was just wondering. But yeah, and so you're going to spend a rage to get an extra action. Is that right?
Yeah, to slash at Dwayne if he's still up by the time Zoe's done with
Sure.
him.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's move forward there. And Dwayne is just gonna. You know what? I think Dwayne is going to spread the love around. I think he doesn't like the sticky stuff, and he's going to attack Marco. Because Marco's right there as well. So we will start with that because I think that's everyone.
Just before we do,
sure.
What was the roll for healing?
Oh, for healing, yes. Sorry, it's just stamina. Stamina at difficulty 8.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So Dwayne's attack on Marco, and that is a hit. And then the damage is going to be aggravated. And you're in Glabro, aren't you, Marco? I'm going to take that as a yes.
Yes, I am in Glabro.
Okay, then you get a... Oh, never mind. Never mind. He spins round, and you know what? He's so distracted by all these gnats and creepy crawlies and the stickiness and the horror. He's tangled up in his own webs, and he's kind of losing a bit of that acrobatic flair, and is just wildly slashing at you and hitting nothing but air. Lila, howl your howl, please.
I got the
So that's 3 successes, but then a 1, so 2 successes at the end.
And was like an alternate thing it said to restore rage, something like that?
Yeah, so it's you can determine the effects, but the examples they give are granting point of rage, and or bonus die, things like that.
Well, you know what? Let's have it slightly different this time. So, like, I think this howl like spurs you on. The violence and the rage has already started. So I think this just restores your appetite for that. So everyone can just restore a point of rage, please. I think that sounds good.
Full rage. So.
Absolutely. Marco, it is your turn. So do you want to try and clave your way into Dwayne? I don't know. Have you got like the stats for your clave written down? Yeah.
Yes. Apologies, guys. My internet is doing the wonders. But yeah, so I'm trying to hit them with the clave. The difficulty to attack with the clave is 6, and it affects. It inflicts strength +2.
Cool. So it'll be dexterity plus brawl plus melee. Sorry. Difficulty. Yeah, whatever the difficulty you said it was 6.
So 6. So I'm rolling 6 dice. So I roll that. I get.
Oh no, the tease of it all. Sorry, folks, we've got some connection problems tonight.
He's just doing a dramatic pause.
Very long dramatic pause. In that case, oh no,
apologies.
He's back with us.
2 successes.
2 successes. There we go. Yeah, so that hits. So what is the? Do you say it's strength +2 the damage?
Strength +2 aggravated damage, and I am in Glabro, so my strength is 4. So that's 6 aggravated damage to this spider creature.
No, that's the number of dice you roll for the damage roll.
I am getting used to werewolf. Okay, so that's 6 dice. Oh no, sorry, that's 4 dice.
6 dice.
Oh, 6 dice because it's
strength. If it's strength +2 and your strength is 4 in Glabro, that's 6.
That makes sense. 2 successes.
Yeah, and while it says aggravated, I don't think it's aggravated for him because it's silver.
Sorry, I was wrong. It's 3 successes.
Okay, but yeah, it's silver, which isn't aggravated for him, as far as I'm aware. So it's lethal to him, and he does have some lethal soak, although probably not as much as he'd like, and definitely not as much as he'd like, being as he just failed the roll entirely. So with that in mind, your clave carves kind of into him, maybe into his arm. Maybe you even chop one of those bone shards out, and it kind of like flops onto the floor unpleasantly. And he's definitely feeling it, but again, nothing close to a mortal wound. Although I suspect I'm narrating that to no one because I think we've lost Pierre again, but that's fine. He's taking his turn. We don't care. As long as he comes back for next time, who gives a shit, you know? Beanstalk, I believe you're attacking Mikey again.
I am. So, Dex plus Brawl. So that's 4 plus 1 is 5 dice.
There he is. He's back with us.
Do I get the howl for this?
No, because the howl was just 1 extra rage.
Okay. 5 dice, difficulty 6. 2 successes.
Yeah. So that's a damage roll, please.
And that
That's
is
your strength, accounting for Krenos, plus 2.
8 dice.
And he does have an aggravated soak.
He's going to have to beat 3.
He has beaten 3. He's got 3. So I'm going to say maybe your claws are still clagged with bits of Mikey. And you're just like scratching away, but all you're really doing is scraping bits of Mikey off with other bits of Mikey. So he's sitting pretty at the moment. Other than the fact that he's just trying to punch you. But other than that, it's all good. So Tommy is dead. Let's move on to Mikey. So a punch, I believe, is just like strength damage. Let's see if he hits you. He might miss. He's also got -1 to his pool. So that's going to be 3 plus 3 minus that. Yeah. He does hit. And you know what? He's got a pretty good strength here. So let's see how you do with the old soak. So I'm assuming he's going to roll at least 1 success. Yeah, you know what? He does. Oh, no. No, he does. So give me a regular soak there, please, Chris.
Soaking, bashing. That's only 1 success. Yikes.
Okay. You know what? This Mikey guy hits pretty hard. He's attempting to kind of swat you on your nose. And one of his fists, as he does this, kind of does catch you across the cheek and leaves you with, it's going to bruise in the morning. Well, it probably won't because you'll healed it by then. But take 1 bruising damage from good old Mikey.
It puts me on hurt.
Zoe, I think it's time for the end of Dwayne, don't you?
Attack things.
Yeah, attack things. That's a
attack things in a less visceral manner, though, because I'm wounded and I don't have the assistance of extra dice
the assistance. Yeah. So that's Dex plus Brawl at difficulty 5, and remove the amount of dice of your wound penalty.
Yeah, so I've gone from 7 dice to 5.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 successes.
That's enough. So yeah, just your strength roll on that, and damage rolls aren't affected by wound penalties. So it's just going to be that big old strength of yours with your
the ridiculous thing. Yes.
Yeah, the ridiculous thing. So it's your strength plus 4 plus 4. 2 for normal claws, 2 for razor claws. Razor claws is really good. I don't think Dwayne has an aggravated soak. He does not.
Less good this time, only 7 successes.
You know what? That'll do. So I believe that there definitely was talk of spines earlier. So I feel like Dwayne has now rounded on Marco as Marco has stickied him and is slashing at him with his clave. And I feel like Zoe, you just kind of at this point, you said you're more controlled. So you just kind of maybe sweep your body round, sweep it low and come in, and your razor sharp claws just carve open Dwayne's back, and along the way your thumb just curls around that hardness of the spine, and you rip through his body, and with a kind of a gurgling hiss, he flops around briefly on the end of your grasp before crashing to the floor, just kind of lashed open, eviscerated open, flayed along his spine. And yeah, he's not going to be doing any webbing anymore. That's for sure. So that is Zoe, but I believe we have one more attack this round, and I believe that attack is Lila, and there's only Mikey left. So with that in mind, let's get an attack roll from you, please, Inga. So that's dexterity plus brawl, difficulty 6.
4 successes.
Yeah,
3,
more
sorry.
than-
One. That was a 1. 3.
Plenty. So let's get a damage roll. And that's going to be your strength, accounting for Krenos, plus 2.
Plus 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
5 successes. And he does
Oh,
get...
plus 2. Hang on.
So an extra 2 dice.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
One more success.
So that's 6 successes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. So... Yeah, Beanstalk, you're kind of there, kind of like your rage is building from the audacity of this Fomori just kind of trying to swat you like a common dog, like a household pet, and you sort of rear yourself back for another attack, but then a kind of yellowish blur comes in, and Lila just piles into Mikey with kind of the last echoes of her last howl still reverberating around the room, just furious, like a blur of claws and fangs and tears, as Mikey just with like one last kind of indecipherable howl desperately tries to batter her away before that rocky carapace is torn open and Mikey's insides just spill wetly out over the concrete floor. The Fomori are all dead.
Ooh.
Werewolf combat, folks.
Delightful.
Dead as they should be.
And now we understand why Werewolf is sometimes referred to as splatterpunk horror. So, yeah, you are in this chamber because we're not wrapping up that. I know we're running a little bit late, folks. But there's I promise you'll like this. So you are in this chamber. The pipe is still there, full of that sludgily, gurgling liquid. You can all go ahead and, you know what? Like, just over the next few turns, all the lethal damage will be removed. So just remove all your lethal and bashing damage. It will just regenerate itself. Aggravated will stay for now. And as I said, there's 2 exits to this room on like this ground floor sort of area. One to the left of where the window was, where Mikey's body is now laying. One to the right, and there is a balcony up at the back of the room that you can clamber up to via rusty ladders that also looks to have an exit off it. Yeah.
You guys all right?
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, you just see Zoe like just looking around for other stuff to kill, and then realizes that she's run out and just starts like licking her wounds in the corner.
We should be cautious and search.
Where's that
Then-
pipe coming from?
We need to stop it.
The pipe, by the way, disappears on both sides of the chamber, just into the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, we see because the section was opened. We see which way the flow was going. Which way is the sort of source?
The flow
direction.
is moving kind of away from Mikey's body towards the other door, if you get what I mean. So from left to right from the viewing gallery, yeah, flowing just in that direction. You have no idea what like kind of cardinal direction that is down here. You've completely lost your sense of like, you know, north, south, or whatever.
Go to the source then, I guess.
Yeah, start prowling that direction.
Sure. So you all kind of like, is everyone going together, or is there any kind of sense of splitting up, or are we just investigating these places like one by one as a pack?
I think.
Let's go as a pack.
Yeah, I want to stick as a pack.
Sure. So you step into the chamber that Mikey was lurking in and kind of dove out from with those guns of his. And through this left-hand entrance is a very rough and wrecked living space. There's a battered television connected up to a VCR that's facing a stinking couch, partly covered in junk food packets and horrible stains. On the screen, still playing is some kind of video nasty, where wailing teens are being torn apart by poorly costumed zombies. It's mostly made up of bad gore effects. There's another exit in here which seems to be leading off to just very similar tunnels than the ones you came in. You just get the impression that if you'd headed in a different direction, maybe you just would have come in at this room. The pipe, which the pipe is not present in this room, if that makes sense. So it goes into the wall in the larger chamber, and it's not visible in here. So it's behind the wall somewhere. It's like, just going through the ground, you suspect. So, yeah.
No point in going through the corridors yet. Let's search the other rooms. Methodical.
Sure. So are we thinking the other room on the ground floor rather than the balcony one? Is that?
I think maybe I'll split the party and scramble up the ladder.
Okay. The other three of you, are you insisting on following Beanstalk, or are you going over to that? You definitely don't get the impression that anything is lurking. Like,
Yeah,
there's a silence around you, and the stench is still there, and obviously the horrible ooze going through the pipe.
Yeah, I'll hunt around, just in the other room that we saw. So.
In the other far room. How about Marky and Lila? Marky? I'm adding E to the end of everyone now.
Marky. I'm happy to split if that's what Beanstalk wants. So let's I'll explore the other routes.
So you're going with Zoe into the other kind of ground floor room.
Yep.
Lila, how about you?
I might run up with Beanstalk.
Sure. That evens. Is everyone staying in whatever form they're in at the moment? Krenos, Glabro? No one's shifting yet. Just in case, right? Just in case. Okay, let's cover the ground floor one first. So through that right-hand entrance, you find yourself in a small concrete box room with a squalid set of camping beds where clearly the Fomori had been taking their rest. In one corner of it is a large, seemingly functional from the buzzing noise, chest freezer.
I go up to it and tentatively open.
Sure. Inside is a large stack of frozen meat, mostly store-bought, but definitely with a few rats and what looks at first glance to be a human leg.
Right.
There doesn't seem to be there's definitely nothing hidden under it. It's just a little pile on the floor of this chest freezer, and there's nothing in here apart from the camp beds. So if we're satisfied with that room, I guess we'll hop up to the balcony and see what's up there. So yeah, you clamber up onto this balcony, and there's an entrance at the back of it that leads you through to what seems to be a somewhat more organized workspace. There is a desk in the middle of a table that has what looks like a very old-fashioned kind of rota book on it, like a workbook, and there's a decade-old map of Cincinnati pinned to the wall with a number of locations marked off it, and there's a guide to the sewerage system, just also pinned up, but it's like a smaller booklet, and it's hanging from a string next to it.
Got to take that map.
Sure.
Do we see what looks to be our current location or the mechanics and that sort of area on marked somewhere on the map?
You absolutely could if you had a little, because you're not familiar with Cincinnati, so maybe if you roll to look at it. Is anyone kind of interested? I'm just because I want to see how we wrap this up today. Is anyone interested in looking at that rota book while someone else has a look at the map, for example?
I dibs on the map, so
yeah, I'll have a look at the book then.
Sure. So you look at this rota book. And basically it just seems to list, it lists the Fomori names. So you see there, Billy, Tommy, Mikey, and Dwayne listed day after day, week after week, month after month there, along with various locations around the city. And next to those is a listing for a number of barrels. There's a lot of them. As Beanstalk kind of gets the map off the wall and kind of starts poring over it, a simple glance over between the rota book and the map will tell you that every location like most of the locations on the map that are circled in black marker are the locations listed in this rota book, with 2 exceptions. 2 of the locations have red marker circled around them. One of those, you're pretty sure with some kind of thinking and looking and comparing, is where you are. It looks to be in this patch of wasteland. Maybe you see even the auto shop marked out with a little symbol, so you can go, okay, that's where we are. The other location circled in red marker is not too far from where you are, maybe a few miles north to you, north of the city center. It is listed on the map simply as manufacturing plant. And I think we will end the session there, folks, with hopefully a lovely sinking feeling for anyone who paid attention during the Vampire the Masquerade arc. So there we go. Thank you for my wonderful players, and thank you to you for watching and hopefully enjoying. If you've got any comments or questions, fling them in the chat. This is the last actual play stream for us for 2021, so get those questions in there if you want them answered before 2022. Yeah. In the meantime, promo. Links down below. YouTube, Twitch, you know what those do. Go check them out. You know what social media and Discord and Patreon do. Check those out as well. Please do tune into our other series. We have 3 regular weekly series. Mondays is Shadows of Esteren, Wednesdays is Simbroom, and Thursdays is this, Cincinnati Chronicles, our World of Darkness anthology series. We're taking a break over the next 2 weeks for the festive season, but we will return in January, and all of those will be starting at their regular times of 8 o'clock p.m. GMT. We also do one-shots on the first weekend of every month, and there's a bunch of them over on our YouTube if you want to check those out. The next one will be Cyberpunk 2020, which will be taking place on the weekend of the 8th of January. So please do tune in for that as well. In addition, this is not our final stream of the year, just our final actual play stream. This coming Monday, that is Monday the 20th of December, we will be having a special, just casual Christmas stream. We're not entirely sure what we'll be doing on it. We'll be talking about the year we've had, talking about the games we played. Chris will be singing a song for us, which may or may not be Christmas and or murder themed. Yeah, tune in. That'll be at 8 o'clock as well. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So please tune in for that. It'll go on our schedule over the next couple of days, so that will be a good reminder for you. Yes, I think that's it. Comments, any of the comment things. Sauerkraut Kid, good to see you. Jaundice Neon, new band name. Hey, I've got a band name for every day of the year. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my word, I've just realized that I didn't, for some reason, the private chat didn't auto scroll down for me. So there's like a load of things that people may have been trying to bring to my attention, but there we go. Yeah. John, Angry Awoo. Yeah, that's a pretty good summary of Werewolf right there, I'd say.
Got some top-notch awoos this session.
Top-notch awoos. Classic mechanical ace awoos from Inga. Yeah. What else we got? Tommy, can you feel me? Yeah. Not anymore. Oh, Mr. Christopher, hello. Thanks for the streams, TTRP crew. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. And a Merry Christmas to one and all. Or any other reason why you might have celebration over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, thank you. We're looking forward to our kind of 2 weeks off. Not that we don't love doing this, but it's nice to have a break. Yeah. Any kind of comments or contributions from my players here? Lovely sense of foreboding about that last bit. I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah. This is what Werewolf is. It's splatting stuff and
it's so much nicer than all of the pondering kind of backstabbing politics of Vampire, isn't it? Yeah. It's much
pretty
less
straightforward.
Oh, you're fucked now. It's more like, hey, we're gonna fuck them up.
Yeah, rip the spine off something, blow something up.
Absolutely. If anyone didn't catch Vampire, by the way, and is wondering about that, and feel free, if you consider this spoilers, feel free to skip or whatever. But all the way through Vampire, there were constant local news reports about a devastating manufacturing plant explosion on the north side of Cincinnati. So, yeah, Oh, it's almost as if they're all linked. So there we go, with our werewolves catching their breath and their rage and scraping bits of Mikey out from underneath their claws. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you on Monday, hopefully. And obviously, it'll be available on VOD after. But yeah, we'll hopefully see you on Monday. And otherwise, we'll see you in the new year for more actual play stuff. Have a very good time, folks. Stay safe out there. Slightly scary times, but just keep on trucking. And we will see you in 2022. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.